The Fly Fifer podcast. Let's talk. Your chat, your way. This episode is sponsored by J. Couriers. The people who care for your delivery.
Thanks for watching the earlier episode of the Kinship Carers. So, no pre-planned this because they weren't going to talk, but they've decided that they're going to do a quick 20 minutes, half an hour on camera to explain the other side of the Kinship Caring. And it's the Kinship Caring team that are sat with me. So if you've watched those amazingly powerful, strong women, and there are men out there, I believe, hats off to them. Thanks for watching that. Now we're going to speak to the team. They're going to get some of the bits that we maybe missed or maybe didn't talk about, the important stuff that maybe you out there watching be like, but what about this, what about that? These two are going to talk about that now. So you're going to have to introduce yourself, ladies. To my right here is...
my name's Emma King. I'm a team manager in Fife.
And...
Louise, Lamont, I'm a senior practitioner in Fife.
When you say in Fife, what's in Fife? Is that...
We cover Fife Council.
Right, okay. Employed by or...
Employed by.
Employed by, right. So hats off to the council for what they do within the communities. So, what did we miss? What would you like to get across? And if you're talking to the people that are watching this, just grab the camera and so that they get the message. I always believe that if people are listening, they like to see the whites of your eyes and like to see how sincere you are. So if you talk to the camera rather than me, right. So what did we miss? What do you just want to get out there? What parts did you feel it was important to get into this session?
I think you could hear me and Louise in the background.
Aye,
so
we
that's
definitely
why we
could.
thought we need to come in front of the camera. I think probably what's important is Louise started the journey in Fife in 2014, so I think it would only be fair to start with you.
How we started was a change in the law, and in 2014 the Children and Young People's Act was put in place. Before that there was nothing. The government did not have to support kinship carers. That bit of legislation said that all kinship carers should be offered advice, guidance and support, and it was up to the councils to see how we developed that. So every individual council was different. So I was employed at the time, and Fife Council were amazing. I mean, they really got on board with this. They employed me, and it was I was to develop the team, see what was actually needed. So at the time we decided I would do a scoping exercise. I would go out and I'd meet kinship carers in Fife Council, and I met about 100 kinship carers, and that was mind-blowing. Initially, when they first met me, I think a lot of people hadn't had a great experience of social work, and some of them had just ended up with these children and they weren't supported at all. So we're looking at what was really, really important.
And is that when the Kinship Care organisation was born, so to speak?
For the Fife Council,
yeah,
yes.
for Fife Council.
Yes.
Team, right, okay.
Well, the team was me at the time. But the bosses were really, really positive. They were like, right, we're going to develop this. What is it we need in Fife Council? So once I'd done the scoping exercise, I'd met a lot of kinship carers to find out what they thought was really important. It was all about support. Right. Supporting them and ensuring that they were getting supported to meet the kids' needs that they were looking after. So that was fine. I went back and I was like, this is what we need. So we had support workers. We had employed 4 support workers. So there was me and 4 support workers, and that's what we focused on. It was supporting kinship
for the whole of Fife.
For the whole of Fife.
Wow. That's quite a few wards, as they put it in Fife, isn't it? Everyone's a ward, isn't
Everything,
it? Aye.
So, and that it was a lot. But what we looked at the time was, how do we meet people's needs and get out to that many people when there's only 5 of us? So we looked at developing the groups across the Fife Council. We developed 5 groups. And that was encouraging all kinship carers to attend. One of us would be present there, so we'd be supporting them as they came in on a weekly basis, which was really, really good. We also looked at events because we thought it was really important for this community to grow and to look at or identify what supports were actually available to them. So we started looking at events, and we have an event that we've done since 2015 at Burnt Island in June. So that's our annual event, and there's about 500 carers. This year's going to be a lot more. And they come, and it's a free day out, and our whole emphasis is making sure carers get a rest, kids get entertained, and they just have a brilliant day. Since that time, in 2018, The team, that's when we were looking at, I think it was what we were recognising in all the research that was being done is saying kids should be with their family. We know that. We know kids should definitely be with their family. So all the research was indicating that kids do better in family settings. It's just better for them. So I think our managers took a hold of that again and thought, right, this is what we're going to focus on. So then we started employing more staff. We got more social workers, more support workers. And we've now got
19 of us.
19 of us in the team.
And Emma, you're one of that 19, I guess.
I'm the team manager. I've only been that's just under. Well, no, I came in 2019, so I started in the team as a social worker, then moved up to a senior, and then they're stuck with me as a team manager, unfortunately.
Unfortunate, it's going very, very well.
But no, I think there's a real investment in Fife, and I think that's Fife want to keep kids with family, and that's why they support us so much and have really supported us in the growth of the team.
5 people to 20. I mean, we're probably. We're a huge team, but we've got all different workers. We've got education workers,
drug and alcohol,
and intervention workers. Yeah. So that's really, really working.
Clearly, a need for the team to grow as it has.
We wouldn't grow if there wasn't a need.
Wasn't a need, yeah.
Aye, so,
and it's a recognised need, or else again you wouldn't grow. Aye.
But what we are really, despite we do all the assessments in Fife now, which is much better for the carers, but what we recognise is the support has got to be there, because if carers aren't getting support, they really, really struggle. So when we allocate a case, we go in, we make an assessment, we support the carer in whatever way we can, just to ensure that they're meeting the kids' needs. We've got training programmes, we've got support, we've got events, and that's all to support our carers. So there is a lot of support out there if you just come. I
think it's highlighting, Louise, because the word support, I think, could be brandish, and it's like, what is support? It's exactly that. What do you need in order to stay? I always think about it, what does this family need to stay together? Because it could be grannies, granddads, aunties, uncles. Some of the carers spoke about having their own kids, sisters, family, friends. Do you know what I mean? Kinship carers range, I think we've got a 21-year-old up to about 84.
Wow.
So that gives you the kind of age range of kinship carers in Fife.
84, aye. 84. And I think my mother's round that bracket. I'm not going to say her age because she'll slap me, but she's in that bracket of the 80s, so I couldn't imagine my mum being getting a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old.
She's got a 6-year-old, that 84-year-old.
Wow. And we will support her with that, and we'll look at contingency plans, and we'll look at everything else that's going on for her, so we can get in there and offer the proper support, so as much as we possibly can. But the council are invested in it. That's the main thing. I think they are invested, and we're getting scope to put all these things in place. So we're getting new events and stuff like that. So and all the managers are really, really supportive.
And before we move on to some more of the technical, just very briefly on the 3 ladies we're chatting today, what's your thoughts there on what they were saying and how they got it across, where they are from where they were?
I think you would be able to see, but I think what was really amazing is, and thank you because the ladies are still in the room, is how positive they are about the team. But I think for us it's just about supporting you. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the team, what to do whatever we can in order to support them. But I think that what you've seen probably Shona and Linda on a journey, and I've known Catherine since Talia was born.
And it is that journey, and it is, and I see the progress that they've all made. I mean, when they were speaking about training and stuff, they were like, it's trauma and it's this and that and this. But our summer training focuses just on the carers to make sure that their needs are being met. And I've definitely seen it just with conversations that I've had with them about how much they've progressed, how much they've been able to look at themselves and say, this is how I improved my life, and the support's there for me to get it.
So I asked the ladies a question about, my own opinion of trauma and stuff like that, and I went on about the Act. Is that part of that, is that within trauma training? Because I've never had any kind of training, so I'm asking though, because you all know, within that training for against or around trauma, do they focus on the act that's created the trauma?
Well,
or is it just...
No, it's all about like early experiences.
And
how that impacts on the kids and how it impacts on us all.
Yes.
I mean, we lost, everybody's suffered some kind
Listen,
of trauma.
it's crazy, it's like 99% of the planet, not just...
And it's about understanding as well about what actual trauma is and the impact it has on their children. I mean, some people really do struggle with kids when they get the trauma training and understand reasons where it's coming from, and like whatever their backgrounds have been, then you can develop an understanding, and we'll also look at strategies to deal with these situations.
Right.
I think sometimes with trauma it's really difficult because it's a behaviour that's presenting in front of you, and actually it's understanding that behaviour. It's know a child that's kicking and screaming and swearing at you or locking themselves in a bedroom, there's a reason behind it and trying to understand it. But also I think this year we've really focused on kinship carers' well-being, because fundamentally if their battery's low, then the whole thing falls apart. So I think that we're really focusing on their well-being, them looking after themselves, them looking into their kind of trauma and backgrounds, because I think that a few of them highlighted it, and I think that you've all spoke about it, but it isn't a choice. A social worker makes a phone call, or a social worker chaps on their door, and or there's meetings or that before it, and it's like, basically this kid's going to go into care, and do you want to take them? That is what it is like, and they're amazing. I had
it myself. I mean, I had a 3 o'clock chap in the morning, chap at the door in one morning, and it was the police at my door with my kids in the car saying, "Here, there's your kids," and I'm like, "Oh, aye." But there was no kinship care. I never got any assistance. I just got 2 bairns. They were my bairns. So at the time, I was in a good place, family support, able to deal with it.
But that was a lot of the kinship carers rabbit when I was doing the scoping exercises. I mean, they just felt really let down by social work, by the council, everybody, because they got that knock on the door. They got the kids stopped in their care, and then nothing. No support. When they did try and seek support, they were told before 2014 it's a family arrangement, get on with it. And that's no good. But for us, I think when we spoke about wellbeing before, the carers' wellbeing, a lot of the training that we're looking at now is about their wellbeing, because if they're not coping and we're not supporting them properly, how do we expect them? How do we expect them to look after these kids? Some of them are traumatised kids in society. How do we expect them to do that? So that's why we want to support them and make it as good as we possibly can.
And I think also it's getting the understanding of what kinship is, and that's how I was asking the ladies to get what's that message you would want to send out to other people, is about understanding of kinship, because even myself, I'll meet number of different professionals and they still don't understand what kinship is. But because one of the biggest things we're doing this year is in the in-service days, the teachers, so all nursery, primary and education staff will get a presentation about kinship and what it is. Just only 3 or 4 slides, very
you're taking
basic.
it into the school?
Well, difficult as we...
No, right, sorry.
But they're going to get an introduction, which is amazing.
Right, okay.
The other bit was for school. A lot of like our kids, like you're saying, there's stigma attached and stuff like that. There's not as much stigma attached to kids that are in kinship care than there is for other forms of care. So, and you're a family, that's the other thing. It's family members are staying with. And I think schools are acknowledging it a lot more. And one of the schools, we had real problems with some kids that were in kinship, and they were really struggling with it. However, the head teacher was amazing, and she got all the kids that were in kinship, which were loads, all into one room, and it was amazing. It was like they all started speaking and saying, "Well, I'll stay with my gran, it's great," or "I'll stay with my auntie." And then once that had that shared experience, it was completely different, and the kids are really settled now. So, and that's the point.
Thriving in school, that they were not alone.
They're not different. They're not.
They're just the same as we Sophie, 3 seats back. And
but that's the point of the kinship events as well, for the kids to be able to see that there's a huge amount of other kids in kinship.
Then they meet other kids that are in their schools and stuff. Our event we have in March, that's an engagement. And that's just getting like all the services that we have involved to support people. We have them all there, so that's really, really good for people. But just them getting together with their peers and people speaking.
And the services, are they all invested in this as well? Because there are services out there that like to box tick, and are they easily weeded out?
Well,
I know that's quite harsh. That's quite harsh for me to say, but.
But for us, I mean, we're involved and we're making care plans and stuff like that. And we're speaking to other professionals, and most of them are jumping on board. I mean, most of them are really, really good and really positive, and they want what's best for the children. So,
So you spoke about these days out and stuff like that, so that the kids can go do something, and it gives a moment respite for the carer. But what about, like, is there things in place for actual respite, like a weekend?
We would look at initially we would look at like family meetings to look at family members and stuff like that, and sometimes that works out really, really good. And then we've got to assess it, like how do we keep that going? How do we actually implement it? If somebody really, really needs some kind of rest, if they've got nobody, then we will definitely look at it. But it's about if there is a family member or a friend that could offer that, it's much more natural.
Within the family, So, I mean, but what about, does then that family have to be vetted in any way, or is there a process, or is it just your family? Aye.
And it depends legally, like if it depends where they are.
I suppose it would be a good time to see the difference. So the thing is this is obviously so children are either looked after or not looked after. So looked after is under the children's hearing system or in a section 25 when mum or dad sign that they're happy for their child to come into care. Then we've got the not looked after, which majority of the ladies have got that are in the room, is a residence order,
right? Which
is a parental rights and responsibilities order through the court,
and we would promote that.
And see, before that parental order's put in place, is there financial support for those people that are prior to that? Because I seem to remember something that a certain amount of finances didn't come in place until parental support. That's changed. That was one of the questions that I wanted to ask.
And I can't remember what year that actually. It used to happen that the assessments had to be
done first,
or they only got half payment. And it was a nonsense because at the time, I think if the kinship assessment took a long time, then people were sitting there struggling.
Struggling.
Yeah. So now that's why our team do it. So we've got the full responsibility to get that done. So we get it done in a 12-week process, but the money starts straight away.
So
as soon as you get that child, that money will start straight away.
And backdated if it needs to be.
Yes.
Right, fair enough.
So that will happen. But so we're speaking about like LAC. LAC is or subject to a residence order or section 25, and if it's a family arrangement there is no financial support.
Apart from benefits.
Benefits,
but there isn't any financial support for the local authority.
And I'm guessing that will only be benefits if it's handed over the...
Well, we would always encourage kinship carers, but that also can cause a bit of an issue because the thing is sometimes the family member will say I'll pass them and then they don't and then they do what to upset the apple cart.
My advice to anybody is you need to do that straight away, apply for the benefits straight away, because it never works and it just causes more hassle. So.
But it's not always as straightforward as that, because if somebody's claiming, then there's always this to and fro and stuff like that. I think one of the ladies said it took ages to kind of set up, and that's actually quite normal. But one of the things that we try and do is straight away there's welfare assistants in Fife, which are amazing, as we try and get them to make sure that they're getting everything they're entitled to, because it's a minefield benefits, to be honest.
Yeah. This conversation could go on. I know you've got to be somewhere shortly, so I'm going to shut up and let you say what you need to say to that camera for anybody watching. So what's next?
The other one I was going to say, you made comparisons about adoption.
Yes, sorry, I meant to bring that back up.
So the only thing that I'm going to say about finances and stuff like that, I think a lot of carers aren't happy when they're getting compared to foster carers, because it's foster carers' jobs.
Yes,
so they're doing a job.
It's a job, yeah. Hence that £1.05 per hour.
The money,
thing,
and the money that a kinship carer gets, it's a maintenance allowance to look after that. So they didn't get any pay. They are not paid. And that's why they can still claim benefits and stuff like that. They're not working. So that's the difference. But it's a job, like they've got a payment. But the maintenance allowance, that's what they get, foster carers and kinship carers. And
within the realms of your position, I don't want to put you on the spot. Where are you at? Because it's a government thing, probably not a council thing at all, on this. There it's in one hand, but by the way, we're taking it in that. Where are you at with that, or is that not something you care to?
I mean, for the benefits, people are getting benefits. So what the government think is, why would they get benefits for two things? So they were getting two payments for the one thing. That's how they look at it. I don't look at it like that, but that's exactly how they see it. But if you're not working, you get the full benefit. So the benefits that come off are your universal credits,
because they've said you need this amount of money to live off per month.
So they say that. So if people are getting benefit, that's what they should be getting. So
what has happened though is the local the Scottish Government have looked at kinship payments. So there's actually a set amount, and you're right, it's for the ages. It's like 0 to 4, 5 to I can't even remember. That's 12. Terrible, isn't it?
Was it that age and stage thing?
It's the age and stage. So the government has, so basically that is the minimum a local authority has to pay, is the amounts they set up. But I totally agree, it still isn't enough. It's a maintenance. I think that's the word we need to use. It's a maintenance payment. They only paid to be kinship carers. It's a maintenance. And you're right. Do you know what I mean? I've got an 11-year-old, and trainers are not cheap. Even in the
it's done for love, but love doesn't pay for anything.
No. But the big thing about kinship care, and when you're doing assessments and stuff like that word is banded all the time. I'm doing this because I love them. It's my family, and they're not going into the care system. And that's how it should be. I mean, kids, wherever possible, I think our team really, really does promote that. we will ensure that a child stays within their family. If we
Right.
can.
We'll do whatever it takes.
So, talking to the camera again, somebody watching this, first steps, what do they need to do?
Well, if they get a knock on the door on a Saturday night and they're ended up with 3 kids, you phone your team. Am I allowed to say it?
Well, well, the thing is I
We'll put links in the description as well,
right,
but
right.
I mean, there might be people out there like me that are dyslexic and didn't like reading, so...
You phone the Kinship team.
Yeah.
Or find out whatever area you're in. If it's wherever in Scotland, you find out if they've got a Kinship team and you phone them and find out, and you will get the information. Somebody would come and visit you and give you all the information.
I think
that you
what
need.
I would say is the amount of people, kinship carers that I've met, that feel like they can't ask for support because they've got a residence order, because they're going to get judged, or the children are going to get removed for them. What I would say is that we're here to help. We are here
Yes.
for kinship carers. What is a really good website is Kinship Scotland. I think it's www.
That was
I'll
going to
give
be
you
my
that.
next question. Is
And-
this a Fife thing, or is this rolled out all over?
No, so it's very different across the whole of Scotland, and that probably doesn't make sense. But what I would say is Kinship Scotland have information on the local authority or the area that you live in and what services are available, because some of them aren't always in the local authority. Some of them could be third sector services like Bernardo's, Children First, loads of different. Every local authority does it differently. So anybody who has a child who is not biologically theirs, you're a kinship carer, and I would say reach out and ask for help and support and what is available in your area. And don't be scared to ask for support, because the thing is it's changing constantly. We're talking about it more, and that's the point of this podcast today, and the amazing ladies that came along, is to just raise awareness and talk about it, and we want to get a better understanding of it. So just
And
going and ask for help.
I mean, I'm still meeting people in their kinship carer and they didn't realise they're a kinship carer, and I'm like, no, there's lots of support, and like just directing them to the proper services and stuff.
I'm not trying to cut this short, but I've just looked at the time and you need to be somewhere.
Oh, it's fine.
Aye.
You just want to ask us anything?
Well, you are here, just ask. Go for it. Shout, though.
Look at Shona.
I know, come on, Shona. I've never been
So
stuck
like
for words.
you-
They've put me on the spot.
The kinship care finish when they're 18, when they're still living at home if they've not got a job?
That's a big question.
That is a good question.
That is a really good question.
Because the employed people get paid till they're 25. The employed people.
Right.
What I
Yeah.
would say is the payment stop, but the kinship team support, like you would be still welcome at the groups and stuff. There's kinship carers that come to the group who no longer have children in their care, and they will always be welcome to the group.
And we've got a revolving door, so even though if we come in and we're supporting somebody, then like everything's good and we walk away, then people can phone up anytime they want to. And most people have got our phone numbers and stuff.
Right. So, knowing that you've got to go away, this is a snapshot. This is a moment in time. It's been an hour and a bit with the ladies. It's been another 20 minutes, half an hour with you guys. Very briefly to finish, we've got to go because you've got to be somewhere. Thank you so much to the Kinship Care team. Thank you so much to the Kinship Carers. Thank you, I appreciate it. And if you need help and support, please reach out. We'll have all the links and everything put in with us. And it's not the last time you'll see me. I'll try and get better for the next time. But you are going to see more of me, I think, because I quite like this. It's something that's dealt with within my family, and if I can help, all right, I'm rubbish at babysitting, but I can do all this. All right, my wife's brilliant, but I'm useless. But I can do this part to help you reach out. So, sorry. I don't know. I'm maybe needing sectioned. But listen, look, you've got to get away. So will we wrap this up? And then you want to finally say, just say it, and then we'll
Just
get out of here.
I think that every kinship carer is doing a great job, and just that wee bit of support for us could make it a lot better. So reach out.
And thank you to you, James, for
No,
coming
you're
down
right.
and obviously
Don't worry
doing this
about me.
today, because this is amazing. And the thing is any way that we can get your voices out there, talk about it, just keep continuing it. We just want to keep continuing supporting the kinship community. That's what we want to do.
I'm really glad that you decided to do this, because you weren't going to do this, because it gives us a wee bit of balance. Because big up to the Fife Council. I appreciate what they've done, and what you guys are doing. And I think it's good to have both sides. You need to have that. Yeah. And, there might be somebody out there that's completely negative. Hopefully this can help turn them around, to what the council is offering, And it seems like you're leading the way. I've not seen anybody else do a Kinship Carer podcast anywhere, so you've reached out. Here we are. you know.
This is fabulous.
We
And it's
actually-
only
we
the
actually
start.
had a manager done for the Highlands the other day that so
Wow.
the Highlands Kinship team is
Right.
looking to set up, and they were doing spending a couple of days.
Oh,
with
and I
us.
hope they watch this because I'm close to the Highlands. I'm
We'll
I'm up
send
at
it-
Loch Carron.
we'll
Yeah,
send it- we'll
send it them. Aye.
We'll send it
it's
to her.
really good. And
Aye.
it was just about
Yeah.
how we developed their kind of. We've not developed yet, so it was just about how
And
we
the way I
support
could
them.
help the Highlands as well is I've got a weekly radio thing that I do up there, so I could
That'd be
really
great,
help them
that'd
big
be really
time.
good.
Aye,
I'll
yeah,
link you
yeah.
in.
Aye,
No,
good.
but thank you.
Right, sorry.
Thank you.
It's not about me,
I will
it's
shut
about
up.
you. I know.
Sorry.
Right, well, we call it a day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, ladies. Thank you very much. Thank you.